How's it going, everybody? It's Friday, June 3rd, and welcome to episode 45 of SMG Viewers Comments. This is my weekly show where I take the coolest questions I get from the week and try and answer them to the best of my ability. If you've got questions about recording or music or home studios or anything like that, hit me up. And if I think it's got value and other people can learn, I will try and answer it to the best of my abilities right here on this show. Anyway, let's get started.
Just a little auto-tune for those little sustain mistakes, and then it will be perfect.
Are you out of your fucking mind? What the fuck is wrong with you? Just a little auto-tune? How about no? Fuck, what have I been preaching to you guys? Are you trying to fuck up this record? How the fuck is auto-tune gonna make Siegfried's vocal any better? You're gonna sit there and tell me that auto-tune is going to make it perfect. Well, it might make it perfect, but it's not gonna make it better. Human physiology is not designed to listen or appreciate auto-tune, okay? We're used to hearing the human voice, okay? We are not used to hearing, fucking pitch correction. So it loses the emotional impact. There's no way in a million years I would fuck with a vocalist like Siegfried because he doesn't need pitch correction. Oh, he's a little out in a few spots. Big fucking deal! Fuck! And, like I said, if I were to throw auto-tune on that vocal, it would just kill the emotional impact. And that's one thing we've really fucking lost is emotional impact in a lot of modern music. And that's why I'm always screaming about, the effects of autotune and how it's just fucking destroying music as we know it. For verification of that, check out this next comment.
Not many songs do it, man, but I cried. I was overwhelmed. I'm speaking of the back cover. Thank you.
Dude, that just made my fucking day. Thank you so much for writing that in. We worked extremely hard on that song, and the instrumentation was great, but when I first heard Siegfried's vocals for the back cover, it was like, damn. I mean, it just sent chills down my spine, and I'm like, I knew we had something really special. When I first heard Siegfried sing back in January, I'm like, damn, this guy is an absolute rock star. It's only going to be a matter of time before he gets picked up by some major act because he's got a very rare talent. And I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to make music with the dude. He's just fucking amazing. And his performance on Moon on the Water just completely made that song. And, I've been getting a bunch of messages like that where people are like, yeah, that really made my hair stand on end or whatnot. And that's really rare in music these days because it's all just computer corrected bullshit. And like I said, I don't think adding auto-tune in any way would have made that better at all. It might have made it more correct, but it wouldn't have been great. And there's the fucking difference.
Glenn, who's Crom and why are you so obsessed with his balls?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, for you non-barbarians out there, Crom is the god of Conan the Barbarian, a construct of Robert E. Howard. I was a huge fan of the Savage Sword of Conan comic throughout the 80s and 90s, the Roy Thomas comic put out by Marvel Magazine, or put out by Marvel Comics. So yeah, when I say Crom's balls, what I'm really saying is that's kind of my version of Jesus Christ or holy shit. It's like, wow, that's fucking totally unbelievable. So like, instead of Jesus Christ, who's not one of my favorite fictional characters, I thought I'd use Conan, a Conan reference who is one of my favorite fictional characters. I could easily say Hail Xenu or something like that too. It just means, yeah, wow, that's fucking absolutely unbelievable. Hey guys, just want to take a break here and let you guys know I've got the new SMG coffee mugs in stock. Here's rule number 2. Your bass player is a useless cunt. It's got the awesome SMG logo on this side. These are available for $16. Ships worldwide, much cheaper than my normal shipping rates through Canada Post. So I'm working with a third-party carrier now. So these are fucking awesome. They're dishwasher safe. All my remaining t-shirts are also on sale. All my original black and white ones that I've got, those are priced to move. I'm having a closeout this week on the original Stop Cupping the Mic Dumbass shirts, the text only ones. Those are going for very, very reduced rates. Anything I got left in stock, they are priced to move. I want them gone. One last thing, a bunch of you guys have been asking for an SMG Logo shirt, and those are finally currently available. Those are with my new carrier. They go for $20. My shipping rates are much reduced from my normal shipping rates, so the prices kind of balance out, to be honest with you. It might be a little cheaper depending where you are in the world from my normal prices. They're color, and most cool of all, they are available in multiple colors instead of just black. I'm going to be offering many more shirts in this style as well in the very near future. Like I said, I'm just clearing out my existing stock right now, so please head on over to spectremedia.ca/shop. This is going to be the only chance you get to get these shirts this cheap.
Glenn, how did you react when you found out Nick Menza dropped dead on stage?
What do you say to something like that? I've been a fan of Nick Menza ever since the early 90s. I mean, I remember when Rust in Peace came out, when Dave Mustaine got his new version of Megadeth together. And, we were all like, oh, what's this going to be like? And I'm like, fuck yeah, these guys are great. I saw Megadeth on that tour open up for Judas Priest at Maple Leaf Gardens in downtown Toronto. And yeah, it was a great show. I remember Megadeth gets up, but Nick walked out on stage first, gets up on the kit, and just, gets behind there, just like gets everyone fucking going, like 10,000 people fucking just roaring to go. And Megadeth did this amazing fucking show, and it was absolutely unforgettable. One of the best shows I ever saw. Nick Menza was a true monster on the drums. I was very disappointed when he left the group, and I really had wished he'd come on board for the new one. Now, nothing against Chris Adler. The guy's a fantastic drummer as well. I just would have loved to have seen Nick, because I really think, when Friedman and Menza were in there, that was kind of the classic lineup. Anyway, yes, Nick Menza was a total loss. And it's just like 2016's been pretty rough on rock musicians, and it's very sad to see him go. But at least he went out doing what he loved. So, here's my salute to Nick Menza. Sir, you will be missed.
To the fellow drummers being critical of Glenn, you are your own mixer. When you sit down, you're looking for a certain sound. Hitting each drum or cymbal at different velocities is mandatory. Hitting your cymbals, attempting to break them is stupid, and it's going to make the cymbals unbearable in the mix because every microphone is capturing them, including the kick, and you're going to lose precious frequencies because of it. If you want the sound, you need to listen to your engineer, I promise. And you need to hit the kick and snare way harder than your other drums and cymbals. No other way around with it. Deal with it.
Dude, that was absolutely magnificent. I couldn't have said it better myself. Hats off to you. Holy fuck, we finally found a smart drummer.
Glenn, what's an example of a shitty guitar tone or a shitty drum sound on a record?
A great example of an album that suffered from production issues, in my opinion, was Testament Practice What You Preach. I thought the snare was really fucking loud. The kick was a little too clicky, and the guitars were really thin. I wasn't very happy with the sound of that record at all, even though it had a couple of really good fucking songs. So there you go. These days, like most of the fucking sample of place drums and shit like that just bores the living shit out of me. So yeah, I much prefer the real sound. And again, here's a good one, even a modern record, the new Iron Maiden record. I think the drum sound on that left a lot to be desired. And I can honestly say, yeah, I could have done better. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Iron Maiden. I think the drum sound on Peace of Mind is one of my watermarks. That's one of the drum sounds I've been trying to match all these years. That's just a magnificent drum sound in every sense of the word. I don't know what they're doing these days that's so different, because it's the same fucking drummer, but it's definitely not sounding better. They definitely hit a high point there.
Hey Glenn, so I don't have a bass guitar, and when I'm recording I prefer using a pitch shifter than using virtual bass. Which do you think is better?
I've been guilty of that too. When I first started out, I didn't have a bass guitar, so I actually, record my guitar clean and just pitch shifted it down an octave, and it can work in a pinch. Sure, why not? The ultimate solution, though, is to get yourself a bass. Even a cheap one can do wonders. I've got a pawn shop special Fender Mexican Jazz I picked up for $200 that winds up on an awful lot of records because it sounds fucking magnificent. Save your pennies, go to a pawn shop, find something cool, and just put new strings on it. Chances are it's going to sound a lot better than a pitch-shifted guitar.
Hey Glenn, as a metal bassist, what bass brand would you recommend? I'm looking for a bass that sounds bright, but also really booms through the amp. Any suggestions? Thanks in advance.
Fender Jazz, Fender Jazz, Fender Jazz. You just cannot go wrong with a Fender Jazz. Watch some music videos. You're going to see that about maybe a third to half of them, everybody's playing Fender Jazzes. There's a reason for that. They just sound magnificent. Even the cheap Fender Jazzes are fucking awesome. Absolutely love the sound of them. Use them on records all the time. I've got a 4-string version. I've got a fretless version. And all I need now is a 5-string version, and I'm all set.
Hey Glenn, any tips on recording fretless bass?
Yes. Place your fingers on the lines, not between the lines. I've got a fretless Fender Jazz that I use in the studio from time to time. Love using it. I think every studio should have a fretless because you never know when you're going to need one. You know, certain clean breaks in metal songs and whatnot can a fretless can really set a mood, and they're just wonderful. So yeah, just make sure you're paying very close attention to your intonation. That is absolutely paramount. Like I said, you have to play on the lines, not between them. And make sure you've got flat wound strings and make sure they're in decent shape. And that's about it. Just record like you normally would a normal bass.
Hey Glenn, what do you think about Thomas Hawk's big drum kit with 2 hi-hats?
I absolutely love dual hi-hat setups. They're fucking great. I always find, when a drummer's doing crossovers and whatnot, that the snare always winds up a little weaker when they've got the hand over here. But if they can keep the hand over here, they've got more room to wind up with the snare hand. I find it gets me a louder snare sound, it gets me a better snare sound, and there's not nearly as much hi-hat bleed because it's way the fuck out of the way. So bear that in mind. I absolutely love it when drummers bring in 2 hi-hats. That's my personal preference. It's like, you got 2 hats, awesome. Let's play the opposite hand as much as possible. Keep it out of the way of the fucking snare.
What are your thoughts on audiophiles? When you listen to music, do you use studio-grade equipment, i.e. monitors, or high-grade consumer products, i.e. hi-fis, high-grade headphones, etc.?
Well, I think audiophiles are kind of like the fart huffers of the sound world. I don't fucking get that at all. The guys who spend, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on power cables, and they don't realize, the power coming out of the wall is run through, the cheapest fucking Romex anybody can get their hands on, especially if it's a contract house. That just fucking doesn't make any sense to me, how people will fall all over themselves over absolute bullshit. I mean, I should really go fucking start making my own custom cables and start selling to some of these guys, because I'd be a rich man. But unfortunately, I couldn't live with myself if I did that. I think audiophiles spend a little too much time worrying about equipment and that kind of shit. And I think it's really funny because you ask them, well, what kind of bass traps do you got in your room? Huh? I would much, much rather listen to a recording on a, halfway decent set of speakers with, maybe $1,000 worth of acoustic treatment than a $200,000 stereo in a room with no acoustic treatment, because the room with the treatment's gonna sound better.
Autotune is good.
No, it's not. You're a fucking idiot, and I'm out of here. See you guys next time.